Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for a radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, just tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. I'm excited to welcome New York Times bestselling author Yoon Ha Lee to our program today to talk to us about his brand new book, Tiger Honor, what it's been like for him to craft characters with a great message and, I think, entertainment for all of us. And also, we'll let you guys know how to get your own copy of the new book. Yoon, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. The honor is mine.
So this is an exciting time for you. I mean, this book is so much fun to read because I think it has so many of the things we've come to love about your books, and that is, of course, the fantasy aspect, but also the ideas and importance of friendship and how we can all kind of embrace our own power. What has it been like for you, Yoon, to be able to share that message, especially with a younger audience, of what they can do even in youth?
I think it's been really great to be writing for younger readers. I had my start in adult science fiction, but that was sort of more serious, more grimdark, more depressing, to be quite frank. And for younger readers, I think it's so important to talk about friendship and being able to stand up for yourself and what you really believe in, which is what my character does in this book.
Exactly. And also, I think, dealing with some real-world issues, which a lot of young people, unfortunately, are having to do now. So talk to us about the beginning for you then, Yoon. When did you know that storytelling was your power, the gift that you'd been given?
It started with my third-grade teacher, Mr. McCracken, who would dress up as Story Man every week in what I think now was a Superman costume. And he was so enthusiastic about letting us kids know that we could be storytellers too. And it was because of his creative writing lessons that I decided to become a writer. I was like, if all these people can write books that end up in the library, maybe someday I'll end up in the library too.
Yeah. And you've definitely been able to do that, as well as I mentioned, on some bestsellers list as well. So when it came to writing Tiger Honor, how did it all begin for you? Was it the characters that came to you first, Yoon, or was it the storyline?
For Tiger Honor, it was more of the character. So this is a companion novel to my earlier book, Dragon Pearl, and it had a villain who was a tiger spirit captain, Captain Juan. And I thought, well, he was just sort of there being a villain in that first book. So what would it be like to explore what a different character thinks of him, someone from his family, someone who's really seen a better side of him? And that became my hero, the non-binary tiger spirit, Sebin.
Yeah, and with Sabin, trying to make sense of what has been said about one, and then, of course, trying to be able to go along his own path, Sabin then finds their own journey of being able to, not only, of course, to try to right wrongs, but also having to make decisions that can be tough at any age, but especially for a young person. What was it like for you to thrust Sabin in such a unique position where he had to be able to do so many different things?
I think one of the things that I wanted to explore was what it's like when you have a dilemma between what your family wants for you and what you think in your heart is right. And that's something that I think we can relate to at any age. I know that when I decided to become a writer, my parents, who were very well-meaning, they're like, you can't make a living doing that. And here I am years later doing exactly that. But for years they wanted me to do something different than what I felt my true path was. So that's something I think anyone can relate to.
What about the writing of the book, Yoon? Did you know from the beginning that you wanted it to be not only Sabin's voice, but also kind of bringing us into the experiences with Sabin?
Yeah, I actually do outline my books from the beginning because otherwise I tend to get lost. So I had sort of this beat sheet and the major plot points and ups and downs plotted out for this character.
And so one of the things, and I won't give this part away, but one of the things that you do showcase in the book, Yoon, that I think a younger audience would really appreciate, because unfortunately they're seeing it as well, if they're looking at the news or even the world around them, is trying to figure out who to trust. That kind of happens with the character Mean as well. I mean, what was that like for you to put Sabin in a situation where you have, of course, a relative that, of course, you want to be able to trust and to love and believe, but also someone who, may not be exactly who you think they are?
Gosh, that was actually one of the hardest parts of the book to write, because I really related to this uncertainty over who do you trust, what do you know about them, and the way that people show different sides of themselves to different people. Someone who's a family member who is beloved and trusted might be very different to people outside the family, and that can be really hard to navigate.
I asked you about your journey in the beginning. I want to ask you about the result. I mean, now you have the new book out, Tiger Honor. When you hear from readers, whether we're talking about emails or these days social media, or even, when we all remember being able to meet people in person on a regular basis, right? What is that like for you to see that you're able to do exactly what you wanted to do with each book just by the response from the reader?
It's kind of like magic, honestly, because writing a novel is a really long process. It's sort of a marathon where it takes months, and I'm sitting here in my study and trying to get the book out and wondering if it will connect with readers. So it's really not until I hear back from the readers and see what they got out of it or what spoke to them about the book, that's when the book really comes alive for me.
Last thing I'm going to ask you about, then we're going to remind our audience, how they can get their copy of the new book, as well as, of course, stay connected with you, is about something that really does, I think, personify Sabin's character, and that is the being able to embrace who you are and finding the power in that. Talk to us about the importance of that for you in this character, but also what you hope that does for the readers that are able to resonate with Sabin.
For my journey specifically, it was being able to embrace my identity as a writer. But I think, and I hope that readers will see this in Sabin as well, they want so badly to be a starship captain someday, to follow in their uncle's footsteps. And the path to doing that isn't necessarily straightforward, but it's definitely doable. And I hope this gives readers hope that they can pursue their dreams as well and become who they wanted to be, instead of being limited by what other people's expectations are.
Love that. Again, everyone, New York Times best-selling author Yoon Ha Lee has been our guest. His new book is called Tiger Honor. You can get it through our friends at Amazon.com, or, of course, order it through your favorite local bookstore. If they don't have it, I know they'd be more than happy to get it for you. And, Yoon, how can our audience stay connected with you?
I have a website at yoonhalee.com, YOONHALEE.com. And I'm also on Twitter as Deuce of Gears. That's DEUCEGEA. DEUCEOFGEARS.
All right.
And that's it for my social.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that we link that up for our audience. Yoon, I know it's a crazy busy week for you. Thank you so much for kicking off the year with us. Appreciate the time, and looking forward to speaking with you again.
You too. Thank you so much.
More than welcome. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.